Lucky enough to have Bob Guenther joining us. He's the president of the Thurston Lewis Mason Central Labor Council. Bob, thanks for joining us today.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here. We're neighbors, you know.
Yep. Hey, the first thing I wanted to ask you a little bit about is the Wired grant you were instrumental in establishing for Washington State.
Yeah, the Wired grant is a workforce investment act program, and basically it's a grant that helps communities pull themselves up by the bootstraps. And so it's workforce innovation for economic development. And we, along with Centralia College, myself and a couple other people, saw this opportunity for a $15 million grant a couple years ago. And so we worked really hard to get this grant in our area to develop a regional training center here in our Pacific Mountain region, which covers Thurston, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, and Grace Harbor counties. And so in the first round, we weren't successful in the $15 million grant, but we went back to Washington, D.C., and we were able to talk to the Department of Labor and get a hold of some folks back there. And what we did was we said, gave our idea, and they said, well, you got a good idea, but you have to convince someone back here it's a good idea. So as a result, we had a mentorship from the Department of Labor in a man by the name of Tim Barnacle, who was the second in command under Robert Reich at the Department of Labor under the Bill Clinton administration. And he mentored us, and as a result, we were able to get the $5 million grant to the Pacific Mountain region. And so, as I said, the goal is to build a regional training center at SATSA. Now, I serve on the Economic Development Council here in this county. I serve on the Pacific Mountain Workforce Development Council, and our goal is to be able to reach across all segments of the population to actually get these folks training that industry needs. And so the energy industry is a big program that we all have in mind to get us less dependent on foreign oil. So in order to do that, we have a start with this $5 million Wired grant in our area.
Great, that's a wonderful thing to have brought to the community. Can you tell us, the Wired grant's going to help a little bit with stimulating the green economy, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's one of our goals. And you know that I sat on the team that is developing the energy program at Centralia College. And we have what we call the Center of Excellence for Energy at Centralia College. And that Center of Excellence for Energy actually reaches out into all community colleges across the state that want to play in this field, as well as the schools. So what we're looking at is we're trying to make sure that we reach down into the high school, at the high school level, so that these youngsters have a career that will help our environment, help our communities create good jobs, and sustain themselves.
Great. Can you also tell us a little bit about what constitutes a green job for those
Well,
who don't know?
I've heard many explanations about green jobs, and one that really sticks with me is that a green job is when we are actually solving environmental problems responsibly, at the same time creating energy that are the needs for the public.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What is your role in this new job market?
Well, actually, I work for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers 77 out of Seattle. And what we are the people that bring the electricity to your meter base.
Okay.
We actually represent folks in the generation industry as well as the line industry and also manufacturing. And so my role is to make sure that we have the opportunity in our communities to create jobs that will sustain a family. And we hear so many times about family wage jobs. I'm kind of tired about hearing about family wage jobs. We need to take a look at what the state's average wage is for a like skill. And we're better than 70% of the state's average wage here in Lewis County. And as the president of the Thurston Lewis Mason Central Labor Council, one of my goals is to make darn sure that we are above or at least at the state's average wage for like skills. So that's what we're trying to do with this industrial park down at SATSA, building a regional training center to make sure people can sustain themselves and raise a family.
Right, which we desperately need around here. How do you envision this green job economy growing in this area specifically?
Well, the potential in this area is as broad as you can imagine.
Okay.
If we look around this area of Lewis County and this region of the Pacific Mountain Workforce Development Council, one of the attributes that we have is the ability to grow green trees.
Yes,
and
yes.
we grow trees by the millions, and we have a source of energy that is lay waste from the industrial logging community that could create many jobs and could create lots of energy for this state. And I've even heard tell that it could be up to 40% of our energy could be derived from the wood products that are going to waste. And then not only that, when we look at the solar industry, so many people say, well, you can't, solar is good on the west side. But if you go to Germany and you look at Germany's solar system and you see that they have less ultraviolet rays in some of those solar farms in Germany than they do right here in Chehalis, Washington, then the potential is here. It's just developing.
Great. So what resources are available to aid the population around here to learn more and have the training that they need to be able to explore green jobs for their kids and for the adults in the community?
Well, I think the resources are here with the college system, and we're very fortunate. You know, there's 11 centers of excellence in the state of Washington, and that's there's manufacturing, there's construction, there's energy, there's nursing, there's all kinds of different centers. One of the opportunities that we have here is that we've got one of the oldest community colleges in the state, and this community college president is right on with developing programs that will reach down into the high schools as well as train incumbent workers in new and emerging technology. So those opportunities are here. We're very fortunate to have this college here.
What words of advice would you have for some of the youth in the area as far as exploring these jobs?
Well, I think one of the things that has to happen is that we have to start working with the public school systems. And we've been working with the superintendent of public instruction to make sure that our high school counselors can start getting information to make sure that these youngsters have the information they need for a career path. And so many times you look at folks in the high school arena, and they're destined for college, and that's been the focus. Well, our superintendent of public instructions is saying now, career and technical education is a big program that we need to have to get our economy going. And so, if we look at our skills centers, we have skills centers throughout the state, and we're looking to expand those skills centers, and specifically, let's just take Newmarket Skills Center in Olympia. Well, Newmarket Skills Center in Olympia it encompasses 10 high schools. But if we were to put satellite skills centers, say one down here in Lewis County, down in the Winlock, Toledo area, or wherever, that could service the 10 high schools around this area,
yes.
we put another extension at Satsip to service the harbor folks, then the opportunities for these high school kids to have career opportunities is there, and it will enlighten the teachers that there is something out there besides a 4-year degree.
Yes, that sounds wonderful.
But when we look at apprenticeships and we look at those opportunities, a good percentage of those youngsters, once they get an apprenticeship under their belt, will probably want to go on to a 4-year degree. So there's a good share of those people will do that.
Yes.
Stepping stone.
Any other words of advice that you can give to the group that's hopefully here on September 27th to join us for the Green Jobs Now Festival?
Well, I think that they need to be, with the electronic programs we have and the internet and all the information that's out there, I think we need to show youngsters, and most of them are more literate on the computer than I ever thought of being. And so we need to give them the opportunities and get them excited about looking towards their future. If they aren't excited with hope, then what happens is they'll take a minimum wage job. The next thing you know, they get stuck in that rut and they aren't able to get out of it. The other thing we need to do is we need to reach down into communities that haven't had the same opportunities that we have had.
Absolutely.
And we think that we can actually work with these communities, children that haven't had the opportunities. And I say there's a lot of gold there and a lot of smarts there.
Agreed.
Let's mine that and get these people into our economy.
Great. Well, Bob, it's a pleasure talking to you. I'm really appreciating you coming and joining us today. And again, we hope to see you all here at the Green Jobs Festival on September 27th. It'll be from 1 o'clock o'clock till 4 o'clock, and we'll have a lot more information for you here.
All right.
Thanks again, Bob.
Thanks for having me.